Welcome to Bloomington Today. I'm Kaylin Cockrell. Thanks for joining us. The city of Bloomington has been making strides toward a more sustainable future for some time now. And as a part of that ongoing effort, last summer, Public Works set out to improve the city's stormwater management practices. Let's take a look back at that journey and find out how the changes are improving city sustainability. The east parking lot of Public Works isn't your typical asphalt pavement parking area. This lot was resurfaced in September of 2010 with material not normally seen around Bloomington.
Pervious concrete's unique in that it's a porous, and actually water can infiltrate right through it instead of your standard pavement where water would run off and into the storm sewer. So this here is designed to infiltrate stormwater.
The porous quality of the pavement and rock base soaks up stormwater and reduces annual runoff by 90%. Now, a year later, Public Works performs the test to make sure the lot is still absorbing water like it should. 1,000 gallons of water is dumped onto the lot, and as you can see, it disappears in seconds.
Underneath the concrete surface here is 1.5 feet of large rock that are all one size, about 2.5 inches. So inside that rock is about 40% voids, which means that can store 40% of that 18 inches of rain. So below that is a sandy soil subgrade, the regular soil here, then it'll infiltrate there within 4 to 6 hours.
Eliminating standing water and minimizing stormwater runoff ultimately benefits everyone who lives in, works, or visits Bloomington.
Pretty much our whole urban environment has little pollutants all over it, and when rain comes, it washes those pollutants into parking lots, onto sidewalks, into the street, and into the storm sewer, which then goes into your local creek or pond. And if we can infiltrate that, there's natural processes that go on in the soil below, so this stormwater is actually going into the groundwater, benefiting the aquifers, and not going into the ponds.
The pervious pavement isn't just useful when it rains, it's safer during the winter months as well.
As the sun comes out, it melts the snow, and so the snow actually flows into the pavement versus staying on the surface, so we get a lot less refreeze, which is much easier to walk on, much less slippery surface.
Public Works has no current plans at this time to install more pervious concrete lots, but Seeger says they'll continue to monitor the Public Works lot and become more and more familiar with new environmentally friendly techniques to improve city sustainability. In the event of an emergency, Bloomington Public Health has recognized the need for as many helping hands as possible. That's why they've partnered with the cities of Edina and Richfield and created the Community Emergency Response Team, or CERT. The CERT team is a group of community volunteers trained in basic response skills by emergency personnel, and they're always looking for new members. At an early November training exercise, prospective members spent 3 days learning disaster preparedness, medical operations, response to infectious disease outbreaks, and more, all taught by various trained professionals. Volunteers even got a chance to put out a live fire, learning the importance of using the buddy system when in emergency situations, proper fire extinguisher testing and operation, and finally, how often you're supposed to get your fire extinguisher checked and where you can go to refill it. Volunteers are given an equipment bag to take home, complete with a hard hat, work gloves, goggles, and more that will come in handy in whatever crisis they may be called upon to aid the community in. Once CERT members complete the 3-day training, they're recognized in their communities with a formal graduation ceremony. To apply to be a CERT volunteer, visit the city's website, keyword search CERT, and complete the online registration form. We'll keep you updated right here on Bloomington Today as when the next training exercise will be. On last week's episode of Bloomington Today, we brought you news of a unique ribbon-cutting ceremony to welcome one type of children's museum to Bloomington. Today, we'll take a tour of the works and see how more space has given them the opportunity to grant more fun with learning to area residents. After weeks of relocating, redecorating, and reconstructing new and old exhibits, the Works Children Museum has opened its doors at its new site in Bloomington.
We are just thrilled to be here in Bloomington. The city and the mayor and the local businesses and Chamber of Commerce have been so welcoming to us, and we are so excited to finally officially be opened.
The Works, previously located in the Edina Community Center, had outgrown its space as popularity for the facility began to grow. School groups, daycares, and residents rapidly began needing more room to play and learn. This new space offers all the old favorites like the light harp and pulley systems, while offering some new components as well.
So our old space was pretty small and compact if anybody had ever been there, and here we have 40,000 square feet to fill. So in addition to all the exhibits and interactives we have a temporary or changing exhibit gallery, which right now we're featuring toys, the inside story. And then we have a design lab up on our second level, which is open-ended engineering explorations and activities for children and families, which is something our old space did not have in it. And then in our lower level, we have 6 classrooms, which we didn't have that many before, so we can accommodate many more school groups and classes at a time.
According to Mizell's, reading, writing, and arithmetic aren't the only basic fundamental skills taught in schools today. In fact, in Minnesota, engineering concepts are now required in classroom curriculums to help further mold children's minds. That's where the Works comes in.
Our goal is to expose children to engineering and engineering concepts, which is critically important for their success in school and success in life, because what engineering does is builds children's creativity, exploration, imagination, and critical thinking skills.
The new Bloomington space will allow the Works to serve 4 times the number of visitors, while continuing to be a resource for educators, parents, and the children they ultimately serve.
No matter what activity they're doing, whether they're in one of our classroom activities or whether they're out on the floor exploring, building racing cars, it's when you see them stop for a minute and think, how did that happen, and what if I do it again, and what if I do it a different way? And that's exactly at the heart of what we're trying to do.
The Works is open to the public Thursdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. and then Saturdays through Mondays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Admission prices are $6 for adults and children. Admission plus design lab entrance is $8. Now it's time for another In the Loop segment, where we bring residents news and events happening within Bloomington's South Loop area. This week, we'll find out what the Mall of America is doing to ease parking and traffic concerns around the mall during the holiday season. Between Thanksgiving and New Year's, the Mall of America welcomes more than 16 million guests. With the boom in shoppers during the holiday seasons, residents often become concerned with how they'll get in, get out, and park. According to a mall representative, MOA plans to address these concerns using 3 tools: Twitter updates, real-time traffic updates provided by a mobile phone app, and a new wayfinding signage system. The idea is that when congestion occurs in parking lots or around the mall, the signs and mobile alerts will be updated to let motorists know the least congested way to reach the Mall of America. With more than 520 stores, mall representatives say that staff is always looking to enhance guest experience. As of the first week of November, the mall is decked out in all of its Christmas decor, and Santa arrived on November 10th and will be available daily to take photos until December 24th. And while you're planning your next visit to the Mall of America, stop by on Turkey Day, where hundreds of people will be gathering to end hunger. You're invited to join the Twin Cities Hunger Initiative for its 5K route around the first floor of the Mall of America. Registration for walkers begins at 7 a.m. on Thanksgiving, Thursday, November 24th, and groups will begin their hike around the mall from 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. Registration is $25 for adult walkers, and those who raise $100 get a free t-shirt. According to officials, 1 in 10 of our neighbors doesn't know where their next meal is going to come from. For more information on the 2011 Walk to End Hunger, visit www.walktoendhunger.org. It's now time for a short break. When we come back, we'll take a look at an informational video about the do's and don'ts of roundabouts. Stay right here.
The American Legion honors our newest generation of warriors and veterans.
Please join us in supporting and recognizing their unique contributions and needs.
The unemployment rate among veterans is unacceptably high.
They are a proven commodity and they deserve a chance to get back to work after serving their country.
Hire them. Today, more than ever before, women are on the front lines of America's defense.
They deserve to be recognized for their service as guardians of freedom and to receive the best treatment and care we can provide.
Let's not forget our wounded warriors and their families as they return home. We cannot allow them to be forgotten and left to fend for themselves.
They deserve more.
And let's honor the families who sacrifice so much every day.
As the service member serves,
so does the family.
Please join with the American Legion to find out how you can truly honor America's newest generation of veterans. Go to legion.org/honor-veterans to find out more.
Welcome back to Bloomington Today. More and more often, residents are seeing roundabouts being used in area construction projects, like the 169 I-494 interchange system, for example. 6 roundabouts will be installed on the new ring road system by 2012. In an effort to alleviate residents' concerns about the new traffic circles, the Minnesota Department of Transportation has produced a video highlighting why they've chosen roundabouts and teaching residents how to use them. Take a look.
One big reason for the move to modern roundabouts is that they're much safer than traditional intersections. Who says so? Well, the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, for one. They're a research organization that issues safety ratings for cars, and they've conducted research on roundabouts too. They looked at 23 traditional intersections that were converted to single-lane roundabouts. What they found is interesting. Conversion to roundabouts reduced all crashes by about 40%, reduced crashes that cause injuries by about 75%, and eliminated fatalities almost entirely. Are you impressed or are you skeptical? If you're unsure, bear with me for a few minutes. I think I can show you that modern roundabouts are often the right solution. One step engineers have taken in designing modern roundabouts is to reduce the size of the circle. But the most significant change was to have vehicles entering the roundabout yield to traffic already in the circle. This is done with yield signs at the entrances rather than stop signs or lights. These changes help to keep traffic moving at a safe and efficient speed. How efficient? Well, those researchers at the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety studied 10 traditional intersections. They calculated that if those intersections were converted to roundabouts, each driver would save a minute or so, and that the combined savings of all drivers using those roundabouts would be about 325,000 hours every year. Compare that to the typical intersection with traffic lights. How many times have you waited for a red light when not one vehicle came through the intersection? You can't sit at a red light at a roundabout because they don't have lights. When there's room for you to enter, you're in and out with almost no delay. And that's how roundabouts reduce harmful emissions. If you don't have to stop and start, you burn less fuel. The same study by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety estimated that if those 10 intersections were converted to roundabouts, fuel consumption would be reduced by about 235,000 gallons a year. I think you'll agree that we would all benefit from that. But the biggest advantage of roundabouts is that they're much safer. As we saw earlier, 40% fewer crashes, 75% fewer crashes with injuries, and almost no fatalities. Why? Well, sadly, it's because at traditional crossroads intersections, we see T-bone and head-on collisions, and they're the ones that tend to be serious. But T-bone and head-on collisions are just about eliminated at modern roundabouts because all traffic is moving in the same direction and at slower speeds. That means any collisions that do occur tend to be side swipes or other glancing blows, which rarely cause injuries. There are also some particular advantages for pedestrians in modern roundabouts. First, because traffic speed is reduced in the circle, crashes involving pedestrians tend to be less severe. Second, research has shown that more than half of all crashes involving pedestrians also involve left turns. But there are no left turns in a roundabout. To go left, you actually make a right to enter the circle and a right to exit. Also notice that when modern roundabouts have crosswalks, the crosswalks are farther back than in traditional intersections. Because pedestrians are set back from the circle, drivers can react to the pedestrians first and then deal with the traffic. Compare that with traditional intersections where drivers have to deal with everything at once. The islands between the lanes in the approach to a roundabout also contribute to safety since pedestrians only have to cross traffic one direction at a time. Notice that the entries to the roundabouts are slightly curved and that the circle has a relatively small diameter. These features naturally slow traffic, usually to about 15 to 20 miles per hour. That has a couple of advantages. First, it tends to reduce the force of any collisions that do occur, so there are fewer injuries. Second, with slower traffic in the circle, it's easier for drivers to enter the roundabout. Can you see why people like modern roundabouts? You might prefer them too once you've tried them.
My first impression was, what is a roundabout? And then my second concern that we had was, were we able to get our emergency vehicles around the roundabout? So we decided then to bring one of our largest fire trucks, which is a 90-foot aerial platform, down there and drive around it, in which we did, and it worked just fine. It's really important that your people are comfortable with it and understand how well it does work.
Research shows that members of the general public tend to react the same way. Once they've driven a roundabout a few times, most people like it. And driving roundabouts is actually pretty easy to get used to. You just need to follow a few simple rules. As you approach a modern roundabout, you'll see a roundabout ahead sign. As with any other intersection, you should watch for pedestrians and stop for them. The most basic rule in roundabouts is the idea of yielding. The traffic already in the roundabout has the right of way, and the entering traffic must yield. So as you approach, be sure to look left. Most roundabouts have signs in the center island guiding you in a counterclockwise direction. When an opening appears and it's safe to proceed, enter the roundabout. Once you're in the roundabout, keep your place in line. Don't pass. As you approach your exit, put on your right turn signal. Exit the roundabout, and again, look for pedestrians in the crosswalk. If you're in a roundabout when an emergency vehicle approaches, don't stop in the roundabout. Drive out of the circle and then pull over. Did you notice the raised apron in the middle of the roundabout? Some people see tire marks there and think the roundabout wasn't built big enough to handle large vehicles, but that's not the case. The apron is there just for the trucks and other large vehicles. It gives them the extra room they need, but the raised pavement discourages use by cars. What we've seen so far is a single-lane roundabout, but some roundabouts, fed by heavier volume roads, have more than one lane, both on the approach and in the circle itself. The rules we just covered for single-lane roundabouts still apply. However, in a multi-lane roundabout, just as with any multi-lane intersection, you also need to choose a lane as you approach, depending on where you want to go. Typically, use the right lane for a right turn, or to go straight ahead. You can use the left lane in three ways. You can use it to go straight ahead, or to make a left turn, or a U-turn. In any roundabout, be sure to follow the signs and markings. As we've seen here, modern roundabouts are an option being considered by public officials for designing intersections. In many situations, roundabouts have big advantages. They save time, they save fuel, they're better for the environment, they save lives by reducing crashes, and when most people try them, they like them. That's why modern roundabouts are being built all around Minnesota. If you'd like more information about modern roundabouts, here are some good places to look.
And in related MnDOT news, the 2011 construction season is nearing an end, and MnDOT crews are busy tying up loose ends on the 169 I-494 interchange before heading into the 2012 season. The new Washington Avenue Bridge spanning I-494 is nearing completion. On November 10th, crews were working on the bridge approaches and installing the railings. At this point, MnDOT expects to have the bridge open for traffic sometime in late November or early December. Storm sewer installation near the new bridge continued, as well as curb and gutter installation. One of the 6 roundabouts is expected to be completed and operational in the next month or so. The remaining 5 will be completed in 2012. A MnDOT representative says another general project open house to address public concerns and questions is planned for the spring. We'll keep residents informed as to when they can expect that open house to take place. The 4th annual Veterans Appreciation Lunch was a huge success. Human Services hosted a sold-out crowd for the event on Thursday, November 10th at Creekside Community Center. American Gold Star Mothers, Inc. President Barbara Farrell spoke directly to the veterans in attendance during her presentation.
You've all protected our freedoms and rights, and I want to thank all of you for that. You've made sacrifices and challenged all of us to appreciate what you've given us. For that, I'm truly grateful. Thank you.
Besides being serenaded by the Minneapolis Police Swing Band and eating a great meal, the Veterans Lunch gives residents a chance to thank and honor both local veterans and active duty military personnel.
We see it nowadays so much that the sacrifice of service, as well as just all that goes on in the world now, is really borne by such a few. And it is the veterans and those who are actively serving in the militaries, but their families also, that pay that price. And so it's all of us who really need to say thank you to all that you have done and all that you do.
A photo wall featuring men and women from all branches of service will remain in place at Creekside Community Center until November 30th. So be sure to stop by and check that out before the display comes down. A city event is looking for vendors. Bloomington's Housing and Redevelopment Authority will host the 10th Home Improvement Fair on February 25th at Civic Plaza, but they need more vendors. To download a copy of a vendor application, log on to the city's website. Keyword search Home Fair. The fee to obtain a vendor booth at the fair is either $300 or $600, depending on size. Both the registration form and the fee are due by December 15th. Officials are looking to build on the great turnout from last year that attracted more than 1,500 residents and 60 exhibitors. It's here that residents were able to attend how-to seminars, visit home improvement exhibits, and ask questions and get ideas about remodeling projects. We'll have more details on the 2012 Bloomington Home Improvement Fair as the event gets closer. Many Minnesotans are faced with the same problem every year. They are stumped looking hard for a new outdoor winter pastime. We've got the solution for you. Winter in Bloomington brings beautiful snowy landscapes and plenty of fresh air, and that's the perfect backdrop for cross-country skiing. Highland Park Reserve in Bloomington has more than 7 miles of lit cross-country ski trails. And now's the time to get your family a ski pass so that you can enjoy a full season of cross-country activity. Daily ski passes are $4 and season ski passes are $50, and then $25 for each additional pass purchased per household. Purchase your pass at Highland Visitor Center today. Cross-country skiing gives outdoor enthusiasts a peaceful way to enjoy area parks while providing a low-impact workout at the same time. Passes are required for skiers ages 12 and older. To see a full list of trail guides, visit www.threeriversparks.org. And that's all the time we have for today. To get more information on city projects, parks, road construction, and events, visit the city's website. To check out past Bloomington Today shows or other city productions, visit Bloomington's YouTube channel, accessible right from the city's homepage. That and so much more is online right now at www.ci.bloomington.mn.us. If Facebook or Twitter isn't your thing, sign up for eSubscribe to have updates sent right to your email or cell phone. This is Bloomington Today, a presentation of the City of Bloomington's Communications Division. I'm Kaylin Cockerill. Thanks so much for joining us.